It's that time of year once again. The Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement is upon us. Today we are talking behind the scenes as it relates to safety, preparation, planning, and all the work that makes this event successful year after year right here in Stark County. Welcome to On Our Watch. I'm your Stark County Sheriff, George Maier. The Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival comes around year after year, bringing thousands of tourists into Stark County. It's an exciting but yet very busy time for everyone. I'm happy today to welcome two people at the forefront of making all of this happen. First of all, my friend Canton Police Chief John Gabbard and John Kendle, Vice President of Archives, Education, and Football Information with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Thank you both for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Chief, I'm going to start off with you. I know, in working with you over a number of years, that this can be a grueling detail for your agency. While it takes a lot of resources and a lot of planning, give us a little bit of outline of what you guys go through each year to prepare for such a high-level security event.
Thank you for the question, Sheriff. And I think sometimes, and you can probably agree from your own perspective, we take for granted how things work out, because every year, from the end of the last Hall of Fame event to the next Hall of Fame event, we're planning, and the logistics of that are significant. Some of those things have changed over the years, such as the location, the size of the crowds expected, and so forth. And our planning starts with our perimeters, where we're going to be, how many resources we're going to need, and how many resources we're going to have available. So we have to sit down regularly to look at the events, which are ever expanding. And as those events throughout the city, throughout the county occur, we just have to see where can we plug in our people and our resources, our equipment. But never to be lost in that is the fact that we still have to handle all of our calls and do all of our regular business, and I think that's the big challenge.
We still have the day-to-day things that we have to do to
Absolutely.
provide safety and security for our communities. Well, Chief, I will tell you, it's certainly a distinctive honor for us from the Stark County Sheriff's Office, the men and women, and I know I speak for each and every one of them, to be able to support you folks on this event each and every year. I know the Canton Police Department is deeply enriched in the Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival. It's apparent right from your very patch that you wear that has an emblem of our original Pro Football Hall of Fame museum. And so I know that these details and the safety of this detail is very important to your folks.
Absolutely, and I think that is it's the cornerstone of these events. People want to feel safe, and we don't want anyone who is coming to any of our events to have to worry about all the behind the scenes kind of things that we should worry about. And that does take a lot of time, but this is a great platform for you and I both to assure everyone that we have taken great steps. We go to great lengths together to work together to make sure that we have those resources in place.
Absolutely.
That the community can feel safe. Not only those who visit, but those who live in Stark County and in the city of Canton, because we should all be able to enjoy this great resource of the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Well, John, thanks again for being here with us today. And I know we're talking a little bit about preparation and Hall of Fame events. And I know from your perspective, there's been a lot of planning going on. And if you could just kind of share with us a little bit about what that looks like and some of the credentialing, because people don't understand this is a high-level event as if it were honestly, we treat game day here and enshrinement day as if they are an NFL event. And the chief knows that there are certain protocols that we all have to follow as it relates to the NFL, so that we're meeting those protocols. How does that impact you guys' operations?
Yeah, well, first off, I just can't thank you enough for the partnership that we all have. I mean, not only with the Sheriff's Department, Canton City Police, so many safety officers, the National Football League, the community, and you're absolutely right. It takes everybody. The 4,000 volunteers that we meet with constantly, training on certain responsibilities, safety issues. But you're right. The National Football League expects a certain level of security at all of their events. And while we're not owned and operated by the National Football League, we have a very close working relationship with them. And so everything that we do is up to their standard. And so we're constantly meeting. You all are constantly meeting with their security details and making sure that we have the safest event possible or events possible, because most NFL events are one Sunday. For us, we have a week or 10 days of events here in Stark County, and so making sure that each one of those is as safe as possible. And like you said, Chief, we don't want our visitors to come and feel unsafe. They want to come and enjoy the events and let us handle all of the behind-the-scenes details so that they can enjoy these great events.
Sure, John. John, talk to me a little bit about the perception of the hall, and certainly you can speak from, with experience from this, as it relates to, the platform that this event really is as it relates to national events all across the country.
Yeah, we've grown tremendously. I've been at the Hall of Fame 17 years, so really seen it grow, not only the museum itself and the facility, the amount of employees that we have, but the perception and the brand grow throughout the country. And it's incredible to me to see we have national events, and they're televised. Our community is on center stage these weeks. And we want to put our best foot forward. Yeah. And it's interesting, you mentioned credentialing in the first question, and we credential over 5,000 individuals to help put these events on. And a lot of those are safety forces. Many of them are volunteers that help, whether it's certain checkpoints in the stadium and other committees that we have. But just tremendous growth, and I only see it getting bigger. I mean, the brand of the National Football League is not going anywhere, and so we want to put forth our best foot as it relates to the country tuning in to see what our community can do together.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's a good place to segue into how much collaboration really is involved in this event, Chief. And if you can elaborate on, I know you work with us, but you also work with a lot of other folks to make this happen, including some of those 4,000 plus volunteers. There are safety teams. We've done things related to providing a higher level of communication with those teams. So tell me a little bit about how you feel about the collaboration and how that helps you guys get your job accomplished.
Well, I mean, it's absolutely essential. And I think you alluded to what a great honor it is that we get to work together. But the way we work together, I think, is very unique in Stark County and in Canton. With other departments, with the Hall of Fame, with the Hall of Fame Village, with the thousands of volunteers, everyone has to be on the same page. We have to understand the roles of each person. I talked before about setting up perimeters. We all have to establish what those are, but then also how do we maintain that? You have bag checks, you have private security that has to understand our role, and we have to understand theirs. Our communications, just for our radio communications, that is essential to be able to, across lines and across different departments, be able to communicate with each other. We wouldn't be able to do it without our friendships, without our partnerships, and it is, fortunately, we have a great collaborative team. And, I do want to speak on another thing. I think you could echo this. The being center stage is not just for our community, but for our officers. And what an honor it is for us to be able to show what professional, wonderful officers we have, and to put them on the stage. And it's, you know, just a sense of pride for us as police leaders to be able to show
and
off
I certainly do echo that. And you know, we talked before our segment today a little bit briefly, and how we have kind of changed the spirit or the persona of what this is for our officers. While it is a security detail, they have certainly a huge responsibility to provide high-level security for all of these events. But we also challenge them with that they are ambassadors. And I know your folks, you have done that, and I have done that, and that's really important because a lot of people don't see that inside of a law enforcement officer, of their pride, of their community that they serve. And so this is an opportunity for our men and women to demonstrate some of that pride as ambassadors for this event, because it is, you know, it's the first official event. It's the kickoff of the season, basically, for the NFL. And so it's a great opportunity for our people to demonstrate their pride and their belief in what we're doing right here in our community. John, I know we talked a little bit about all the credentialing and all the partnerships. Does it get kind of hectic this time of year for you guys and trying to bring all those things together, and how do you manage that?
It does, and like you mentioned before, I mean, you know, we're putting on a world-class event here, and so, you know, the hours in the day are really spent, you know, coordinating and communicating what needs to happen to get to the goal line there. But, you know, we have our day-to-day jobs. I mean, you know, you see my title, and it is, you know, I'm a museum professional, but this time of year we really wear a lot of different hats, and it's about putting on this event and honoring, you know, our mission is to honor the heroes of the game, preserve its history, promote its values, celebrate excellence together, and that honor the heroes of the game. So, you know, having over 100 Hall of Famers come back to this community is something special, and I think something special that, you know, the employees at the Hall of Fame take great pride in. You all take great pride in. You mentioned about being ambassadors, and one thing that I'll echo is that, you know, these Hall of Famers feel like they're ambassadors of our community as well. These individuals are not just great on the football field, but a lot of them take pride in their communities, you know, where they live. But now they feel like Canton is a second home to them, and so they take great pride, and they love seeing the community out there participating in the events. And I know that you all do such a great job in making them feel welcome and making them feel safe here as well. So, you know, it does. You know, it's a lot of early mornings and late evenings, but I tell you what, there's nothing better than, you know, getting through these events and seeing, you know, this community have this pride in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know, there's nothing better than that feeling for me.
Great. Well, guys, I know there's a lot that goes on with this event, but I would like to take a moment to remind you about the Stark County Sheriff's mobile app. Event notifications, press releases, weather alerts, and much more. Sent directly to your phone, and you can find the information on your phone, and guess what? It's free to our community. These programs identify inmate information, missing person information, reports, sex offender maps, and much, much more. It's completely free to download, and all you have to do is visit the App Store on your smartphone and search Stark Sheriff Ohio. And Chief, you know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how things have changed with the Hall of Fame over the last number of years, and actually not internally, just internally with the Hall of Fame, but externally with the expectations from the public. And you know, I think it's important for our listeners to know today, you know, things have changed as it relates to details related to large crowds like this. So can you give us some perspective on that from your view?
Absolutely. I think that just like with any other part of the community, when you see a change in the community, law enforcement sees that same change. Those concerns that change for the public are concerns that change for the police. So I think the best way to describe it is that we always over-plan and over-prepare, but we always have to be able to adapt, because the things that we see on the national stage, if it's something on social media that's quickly shared and it's immediately a concern, it's also an immediate concern to the police department. And our adjustments in training, in our tactics, in the resources that we obtain in order to put in play, those are really important. A lot of it has to do with the expansion of our partnerships, federal agencies, state agencies, the NFL, like we talked about, but knowing and planning the events down to the minute, understanding what is going to happen. But then every year, as usual, something changes and we have to adapt and move our feet. And we do a great job of adapting. And I think that just comes through training, and it comes through understanding that security from an overall standpoint, an overall perspective, maintaining that control and maintaining the ability to shift our resources when needed is so important.
That's great. That's great to hear. John, I know that things have changed in and around the campus of the Hall of Fame over the last number of years. Local people, myself included, get to drive by the Hall, and we see this campus evolving. Can you talk a little bit about how that has impacted not only changes within the campus, but changes with security?
Sure, and it's great to be able to drive by and see dirt moving and buildings coming out of the ground, and I think it's going to be tremendous, not only for safety. Our campus is bigger, so we can host more individuals on our campus, but there's going to be great green space there at Hall of Fame Village. There's new buildings, so parties, where you may be used to seeing a bunch of white tents. There's still going to be a few white tents there that you can go in, merchandise and Sugardale party. But now a lot of those VIP parties that you can purchase tickets to, those are going to be in the Center for Performance, the dome that you see on campus. 8 youth fields that we can have all sorts of soccer, lacrosse, rugby, and football, youth football tournaments there. So I think the excitement for people to come and see this resort and entertainment district that we're building is just incredible. And then the stadium itself, as over the past couple of years, buttoning up that stadium, it's a world-class venue, and we're able to, with your help and the safety forces, really make sure that it's a secure and safe venue for people to come and enjoy the enshrinement, the game, all sorts of different events, the concert, and I feel like as a community, even though this is, we're talking about Enshrinement Week here, I get excited for the community because these events are going to be more frequent. We're going to have the capabilities to do a lot of events all year round, which is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of excitement around that.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, John, that's great to hear, because I know I'm sure the Chief would echo my sentiment in that we're proud of the fact that we're able to provide a level of security that people feel safe coming to the events at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not during just 10-day week, 2-week period, but throughout the year as new events are introduced into that campus. And so it's again a sense of pride for us to be able to say that we're a big part of that we do provide that safety and security. And I know, Chief, talking about some of your events you have going on in town, we didn't even mention that you have 2 parades in the next during this 10-day period.
Yes.
You have pre-parade activities. You have other activities going. How do you manage that within your agency? I know it's a big draw on your resources.
It is, and we plan for it every year, essentially by making sure that nobody is off those days. So it's a grind for the guys. The more events that come up, the more we have to cover, and our staffing, fluctuates from year to year, but we still have that increased need for officers. And so we really do. That if you see an officer or a deputy out at one of these events, you can count on the fact that that person has been working overtime, working on their day off, working double shifts and so forth. And they do a great job of doing that. As police leaders, I think our biggest challenge is making sure that our guys' morale stays high, making sure that they are fed well, making sure that they have good breaks. Maybe some of the things that you don't think of, but they get other unique opportunities during this time as well. So officers who are usually assigned just to patrol, they have the opportunity to be on campus and interacting with the public in a positive way. So that's a benefit.
And I don't know what you think about this, Chief, but my perception over the last 9+ years doing this has been that not only do our local people really come out and support our Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Week, but the visitors we get from all over the country and even all over the world are very pleased and very excited about the opportunity to be on campus, and our folks engage with them and as I said, go back to the ambassador, help them, point them to where they need to get them there if they need help getting there. And so those are the kind of things that I think, from my perspective, that help make this part of that world-class event.
Absolutely, and I think that no matter what, when you're in a crowd, our uniforms, as they should, make us stand out. Our uniforms, our hats, our presence. And so people will find police officers in a crowd. And what I have experienced is that during the Hall of Fame events, people are overwhelmingly positive. It's something that is a huge benefit to our officers. They come up and they thank police officers on a regular basis. And to your point, we use golf carts usually to get around. I guarantee you I've given more rides to civilians on golf carts trying to help find their car or something like that than to police officers getting to a post, because that's just what we do on campus, and it's such a change of pace for our guys.
Well, as the campus changed, and we'll kind of talk about this briefly, the parking has changed. In fairness, the parking has changed. Well, the Hall of Fame and their partners with the county fairgrounds have done a fantastic job of setting up shuttle service for them to shuttle back and forth to their cars in a safe location, parked, and that goes pretty smoothly. I think that would not be a deterrent for somebody not to attend. Sometimes you think about going to an event in a large city and parking is really, really hectic. We don't have that here. Talk about that a little bit, John.
Yeah, and I think it's like you said, it's great that they feel comfortable and safe, that they can park their car in a location. It's safe, and then you don't have to worry about your things. You get on a shuttle, it takes you right to campus, and then our campus, like I said, keeps expanding. So you have everything you need is on campus. You don't need to have to take another shuttle somewhere else or worry about getting back to your car to drive across town. All those things and all those amenities are right there on campus, and people can just enjoy themselves. And when they're ready to go home, they get back on that shuttle. Those shuttles are running constantly and get back to
and I think all of us have been around long enough to remember that it used to be you parked in somebody's front yard, and those days kind of are starting to go away, but it certainly is still convenient and safe, and I think that's the main thing for us, Chief. As we look at this, we want to make sure that experience is safe as well as people come and participate in the activities. John, I'd like you to kind of dive into the event lineup this year and what's behind the scenes. And we got a great enshrinement group this year, and you talked about hundreds of gold jackets coming back. This is exciting.
Yeah, there's for us, the Hall of Fame. I mean, I know there's a community parade and there's different events leading up. We've got the balloon classic coming up, this weekend. But we also have the First Play event, which we lined 3,000 kids up from the Frank Thibault Federal Building in downtown Canton, all the way through the park system to the front steps of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they pass a football. That signifies the official kickoff of the NFL season and our events at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then we go right from there into the Thursday game, the Hall of Fame game, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Oakland Raiders, or I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. Right. The historian in me, but. That's going to be a great event. Josh McDaniels, head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, coming back home where he played his high school football at Camp McKinley. And then we've got the enshrinement ceremony. This year it's at noon. So it'll be different. We've always had a prime time, or for a long time we've had a prime time event. It's going to be at noon this year, and we've got Tony Baselli, we've got Cliff Branch going in, we've got Leroy Butler, Sam Mills, Art McNally, the first on-field official elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We've got Richard Seymour, Dick Vermeil, and Bryant Young, and all great players, coaches, and contributors to the game. But one of the things that I really love getting to know these individuals is they're really, really, what they've given to the game and what they've given to their community, really class men. And so that's one of the things that we really like to showcase, the values that these guys stand for, a lot of them, and this is a class of character for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, John and Chief, we have a lot to be excited about for this year's enshrinement and the activities for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I can tell you that I feel very confident, Chief, and I know you echo my sentiments, that this is a safe event. It has continued to be a safe event, and it's a safe event not by accident.
That's
okay?
Right.
It's a safe event because your team and your collaboration with other teams have really risen the level, if you will, rise to a point where we are world class, and we do provide world class security measures for this event. And I think that people in our community and outside our community should feel safe participating in this event and being here and enjoying the activity. So I can't thank you guys enough for your insight, because I know our listeners are going to be very excited about learning some of the things that we were able to talk about today as it relates to this year's enshrinement. And we look forward to these events. As you know, we're in it now. We're pretty much kicked off. We're into the enshrinement. So I want to thank both of our guests today, Canton Police Chief John Gabbard and Pro Football Hall of Fame Vice President of Archives, Education, and Football Information, John Kendle. If you have any questions or comments about the show or topics you'd like to see or discuss in the future, please send an email to onourwatchstark@gmail.com. Also, don't forget, you can stay up to date with all things related to the Stark County Sheriff's Office by visiting our mobile app store, searching for Stark Sheriff Ohio, and downloading our free mobile app. I'm your Stark County Sheriff, George Maier, and this is On Our Watch.